Hey, you're listening to Stop the Scroll, a social media marketing podcast, and I'm your host, Heidi Schmidt. I'm a social media strategist and agency owner with over 15 years of marketing experiences helping businesses grow online. We'll be diving into what you need to know so that you can show up confidently online without the overwhelm. Get your notebook ready to jot down some amazing marketing gems, and let's dive into it. All right, welcome back to another episode of Stop the Scroll. Today, we're going to talk about hooks. And if you don't know what hooks are, they're kind of this I feel like it's this kitschy, very marketing specific term, but it is so important because on social media, especially when it comes to Instagram Reels, we know that we have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. 3 seconds. So if your first line doesn't, or your video, like the first 3 seconds, don't stop the scroll, then the rest of your content doesn't matter. So I scroll a lot. It's kind of one of my vices. I scroll probably too much when it comes to content. But basically, there are lots of social media managers out there who talk a lot about hooks. And Shannon McKinstry is probably one of my favorites, and Emily Schwalbach. They're two of my hook queens. When I'm looking for inspiration for content, they are the ones that give me so much education. So shout out to them. I'm going to link to them. You should go follow them because they have so many amazing hook ideas. And if you're ever wondering why your reel underperforms, chances are it's probably missing a captivating hook. So the hook is kind of that first impression that makes someone stop scrolling and lean in and watch your content. And there are 3 types. You have your visual hook, your verbal hook, and your caption hook. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about those. And we know that one of the biggest metrics that can make or break a piece of content on Instagram is watch time. So we know that your reels, no matter how long they are, you've got to get people past that first 3 seconds, right? So we're going to talk about how to do that because without a hook, without something captivating the attention of your audience, you can have the best post out there. But if it doesn't have a hook to captivate your audience, it's going to get ignored. So 3 types of hooks. You have your visual hook, you have your verbal hook, and you have your caption hook. So your visual hook is the first thing that someone sees. And I am going to admit that I am notoriously really bad at visual hooks. Not always, not usually for my clients. I'm usually pretty good about figuring out a way to kind of captivate things, whether it's short snap cuts or whether, client reels always perform better than my own. That's just, fact of life. I'm the cobbler with the cobbler's kids' shoes, the cobbler's children's shoes. They don't have shoes because the cobbler's always working on everyone else's shoes. That is me, my own social media. And I'm working on it. So a visual hook is the first thing that someone sees. So whether it's movement, whether it's a prop, people will lean in and put on their lipstick, they'll flip their hair, they'll change their outfit, it's text placement. Anything that kind of captures your visual attention and makes you kind of pause and be like, what's this? Stop that scroll, if you will. Why is this important? Well, the brain processes visuals tens of thousands times faster than processing text. This is why we're all addicted to short form video because our brain processes those that much faster and wants more and dopamine, et cetera, et cetera. It could also be something like we're walking into a frame, sitting static, and then turning. There are so many visual hooks out there. Then you have your verbal hook, right? So if you're speaking to the camera, it's going to be the first things that you say. It could also be, and not every video is going to have a verbal hook. It might be text on the screen. It might be something that kind of piques their curiosity. So here's an example. Nobody's telling you this about blah, blah, blah. versus, hey, let's talk about blah, blah, blah. You see how like that nobody's telling you this kind of piques your interest? Like, what am I missing? Am I missing something? So that's the verbal hook. And then you have your caption hook. You have your caption hook, which is like that first line that you're going to see on the caption. And it's usually only going to be one line because Instagram hates everyone. But it's that first line of the caption that appears before ... more. Clicking more is actually an engagement signal to Instagram. So you want to have people click more. That's why people say like longer captions are really good. Like short captions definitely have their time and place and everything. But clicking that more, that's engagement. So it could be, an example, and this is from my girl Margot. If you know, you know. It could be something simple like, and this would be something for me, not for clients or any of you. But, tired of posting every day and getting crickets, and maybe put in a little cricket emoji, which is one of my favorites. Keep reading. And then instead of just like social media tips ahead, you're kind of hitting on that pain point. So your caption hook should really kind of like hit on that, like, what's going to make them keep reading? What's going to make them click on that more to keep reading? Also, the longer you get them to keep reading, the more your reel is probably going to play on loop, which Instagram also really, really likes. What makes a strong hook? And I did some Instagram diving so that you don't have to. So there are kind of 4 things that kind of make a strong hook. 1, you don't want to be vague. Generic hooks just don't stop the scroll. Instead of like want to grow, what is that? That doesn't do anything. Versus how to land X new clients this month without paid ads. Or I see this one all the time, how I got 1,000 followers in a month. Like that one really grinds my gears because, and I'm sure people out there get 1,000 followers in a month. I have never in all of my years managing social media ever had someone get 1,000 followers. I think the most was like 500 followers because a client had a reel go viral and they weren't even all their ideal audience. So I feel like it's misleading personally. Anyhow, another hook could tell a story. Use hooks that are setting up that narrative, like that point of view, a little behind the scenes, come be a work from home social media manager with me or something like that. Like come work from home with me, and I love the vlog videos. Like those are my jam. It's bringing me back to like my original OG lifestyle blogging days where like I loved people who just took you through the day. And I'm thinking back to like Julia Allison, and she was one of the OG Tumblr bloggers that I absolutely adored. And I don't even know what she's doing now. I don't even follow her anymore, but like I wanted to be her. Like she had this amazing life and shared it all on Tumblr. And it was just like step by step, like through her day. And granted, no one has a lot of people have amazing lives, but like what we see isn't always what is behind the scenes. Like we just see like the buttoned up version that we want people to see, right? So it could be something, telling that story could be like point of view, be a working mom, small business owner with me in my 9 to 5. And for me, it would showcase, feeding my cats, making my son's lunch, getting myself ready, driving him to school, coming back, setting up my day or going to an event and all this. Like I've kind of started doing it a little bit on TikTok. I need to do a little bit more of it. Maybe I'll do a couple. I'm going to try to do one a week. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing one a week where you just do a day in the life and it really tells that story and builds that connection and like showcases that behind the scenes. I love them personally. It's not always the strongest hook, but it does tell a compelling story, I think. You want to build that connection. A strong hook is going to build that connection. Like I love the POV hooks that are just like POV, you're a small business owner posting on Instagram at midnight, wondering if it's even worth it. And it works because people connect with relatable, specific details, not vague generalities. They connect with things that they can relate to. And I keep getting this ad on Instagram that talks about like, oh, people don't want to be relatable. People don't need more friends. They want solutions, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but when businesses invite me in to take care of their social media, they are trusting me, and I want that connection. The clients that I have the best connections with are the ones that I have the longest relationships with. That starts whether it's a referral or whether that's someone who finds me on Instagram or whether that's someone that listens to the podcast. Like, there is that initial connection, and that is what sparks clients to work with me longer. Like, those are the clients that I have the best relationships with. How do you create your own hooks? Let's talk about it. So I haven't updated this in quite some time. So if you download it, I might send you an updated one in a few weeks once things kind of slow down a little bit at work. Like, things have been bananas. Hopefully, by the time this goes live, I will have a new marketing assistant who I, can kind of take a little bit off my plate. I have 3 big projects that need to be done in like the next week. Strategies, video editing, like all of these things, they need to be done within a week. And I am losing my mind because things keep popping up, trying to manage everything else. But I have a lead magnet, a freebie, if you will, that has some hooks that are strong hooks for Reels, TikToks, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you create your own hook? Well, you want to reframe your bland statement into a strong hook. Instead of saying, for me, here's an example, I help small businesses with their social media. And a hook could be how I gave small business owners 5 hours of time back in their week by managing their social media. It shows the specific solution, right? Or, stop posting every day hoping that clients are just going to magically appear. Here's what you should be doing. Here's how to get your next client in 10 minutes without spending money on ads, like things like that might hit that pain point and also show the solution. And I don't want to say too much about trial reels because I have so many mixed feelings, and my feelings were kind of validated today. And this is a total sidebar. And I think I need to go find the email, but it was basically a marketing newsletter that I read. And the newsletter was talking about how like trial reels are not worth it, because if you're going to test out content, like if you're going to like burn down your entire brand voice, why would you want to do it on people that don't know you? When do you want to do it on people that do? So like if you're testing hooks, like if you want to use trial reels to test hooks, like do it on reels that perform with like captions that the messaging is like spot on, like chef's kiss, like maybe they've already performed really well. Hey, I want to see how these are going to perform to people who don't already follow me, or repurpose things. But when you A/B test, you will only want to like A/B test one thing. So keep that in mind, because you can test the hooks, the ones that have the highest watch time, or maybe the ones that have the best engagement. That's how you would kind of create them. Yeah. I feel like I got to sigh here. I feel like I'm talking really fast. But again, I'm crunched for time. We're getting ready to take my son to his math tutoring. And I'm like, ooh, I got 10 minutes. But we're almost done here. To recap, our hooks on our Instagram content, and this is not just for Reels. Like, do not get me wrong. This is not just for Reels. You could be doing this as visual hooks, like the text that you put over graphics. Like, I think about visual hooks on graphics, like what's going to make people engage. Like, if it's too small, if it's visually unappealing, if someone can't read it, like make sure your ish has good contrast, for F's sake. If it's just not compelling, like I had a content creator send a piece of content over to a client that had a very, like the logo was just like not in a great place. And I was like, what even is this? It wasn't up to my standards. The client ended up approving it, but I was like, I need to give some feedback here, because like it's not up to my standards, but it's fine. It's fine, right? So much face palm right now, like face palm. I digress. I feel like my sidebars have been all over the place. Total sidebar, and I'm gonna do a pitch because I'm fully in campaign mode and I'm doing anything to like try to raise money. This is not campaign sponsored. This is me. If you want, all the campaign stuff, like go to my website, voteheidischmidt.com. But I am planning my first fundraiser, and it is not on my website, But it's going to be October 12th. If you're local to Anne Arundel County and want to support a Democratic candidate in District 31, I would love to see you for our Fliptoberfest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Feel free to send me an email. This is, again, not campaign sponsored. This is just me doing a shameless plug because it's my podcast and I can cry if I want to. Anyhow, there's my sidebar for today. Because I will do anything to not have to dial for dollars. And I know that I need to get over this hump of like calling people, but I'm a millennial through and through, and I hate the phone. There is an amazing creator on TikTok, by the way. If I can find her, I will link to her because she talks so much about my millennial woman truth. And every time I open the app, she like pops up and I'm just like, oh, your content is chef's kiss. And it'll be something like, millennial women, oh God, I have to find her. I don't know. Like, we created the pre-game. We were 10 beers in before we even got to the bar. Or, there is so much content out there. And when you find a content creator that just like speaks to you, like, oh, you just want to give them a great big hug and be like, you know me. Anyhow, to wrap it up, hooks are the hooks. Hooks are the difference between content that gets ignored, aka scrolled past, like doesn't stop the scroll, versus content that converts. And when I say convert, I don't necessarily mean like, oh, that's content that's going to generate your next client. Like maybe it will, maybe it'll just garner a like, maybe it'll garner a comment. Oh my God, I can't speak today. But it is content that is going to get your audience to take some sort of action, right? Hooks are going to captivate their attention in one of three ways, whether it's visually, verbally, written, on screen, or caption. So I challenge you. I want you to look at the last 3 to 5 reels that you've posted and look at the hooks that were on screen, look at your visual hooks, look at your captions. Were your hooks specific, story-driven, or connection focused? If they weren't, I would encourage you to either download my hook freebie that I've had for years that needs to be updated. I apologize. It's still pretty good. It's got some good ideas in there. Or go follow, 2 of my favorite Instagram creators who are like the hook masterminds. I absolutely love them. So they are linked in the show notes. Until next time, if you would like an Instagram audit of your content, that is linked in the show notes. It's just a simple 30-minute video. And if you want me to focus on looking at your reels and your hooks, I will absolutely do it. We'll also make some recommendations. Literally, it's like $47, and I give you a video and a written recommendation of how to improve your Instagram, Facebook, and or LinkedIn profiles. Until next time, go forth, create amazing content that builds connection, tells a story, and stops the scroll. Bye for now.